from the Newsmax studio in New York City, here is Steve Malzberg.
Josh, on the Middle East, is it not something of a contradictory statement to defend Israel's right to defend itself and at the same time call for restraint?
No, it's not a contradiction. I think it's a reflection of how complicated this situation is. But this is a situation that we've been dealing with for some time, and frankly that a couple generations of U.S. leaders have been dealing with. These are complicated times.
Yes, very hard. Welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. White House spokesman Josh Earnest, of course, cannot answer the question put forth by Mark Knoller. Answer the question. How do you say Israel has a right to defend itself and then say you're going to negotiate a ceasefire for them and you call for restraint on the part of Israel? More.
And there is no doubt that the United States stands with Israel as they confront these threats. But at the same time, we also have a concern for the well-being of innocent civilians on both sides. That's why we believe it's in the interests of both sides to seek a ceasefire that would de-escalate the conflict and take so many innocent civilians out of harm's way.
No, it's in the interest of Hamas, and I'm not surprised that you would do something in the interest of Hamas. Give them a timeout, give them time to reload, rebuild, refinance, whatever, and then eventually they'll fire more rockets into Israel. So it's not about protecting Israel with a ceasefire, it's about protecting Hamas, in my opinion. Now Iran is at it. Watch this.
It is extremely regrettable that people are being killed. Hundreds of innocent men, women, and children have been slaughtered. Almost 100 people have been killed, over 500 have been wounded in Gaza, and the United States is not taking any action. We know that all the weapons that are used by Israel in order to attack civilians in Gaza have been provided by the United States, and we don't see any move by the United States to condemn that.
And these are the people that Obama couldn't wait to shake hands with, call, meet with, broker a deal with, trust. Here's one more from this genius.
We call for an immediate end to all these activities.
You condemn Hamas?
We do not condemn people who are defending themselves. We believe that actions that are putting civilians in jeopardy in Gaza, that have placed restrictions on civilians to get access to medicine, to food, have tried to starve the civilians in Gaza, need to be vehemently condemned by the international community. The United States and the rest of the members of the Security Council have a moral and legal responsibility to put an end to this, and we regret the fact that they haven't taken any action in order to address it.
This is the foreign minister of Iran. Will not condemn Hamas. They are defending themselves. This is the kind of government that Barack Obama couldn't wait to shake hands with, call, sign a deal with, and say, we trust you. What's wrong with that picture? All right, folks, AJ Delgado will join us next. But first, this hour, you like that? But first, this hour's American Moment takes a look back at the first moon landing.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal, before this decade is out, of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth.
In 1961, newly elected President John Fitzgerald Kennedy announced to the Congress and to all of mankind America's intention to send man to the moon. Previously restricted to the realm of science fiction, the president's commitment set in motion an unprecedented effort to fulfill one of man's oldest dreams. The obstacles were monumental, not the least of which was to create an energy source capable of sending a manned spacecraft to the moon. The answer stood 363 feet tall and delivered 8 million pounds of thrust, making the Saturn V the most powerful rocket ever built. On July 20th, 1969, Apollo 11, carrying astronauts Neil Armstrong, Michael Collins, and Edwin Buzz Aldrin, circled the moon until Armstrong and Aldrin entered the lunar module and readied themselves for their historic landing. With just 20 seconds of fuel left, Disaster was narrowly averted when Armstrong had to manually fly the Eagle away from unexpected boulders to a smoother and less dangerous landing zone. Although the imagery was poor, Neil Armstrong's words came through loud and clear.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
However, the flight was not without controversy. Buzz Aldrin, a devout Christian, administered himself communion on the moon. Since NASA was already fighting a lawsuit from atheist Madalyn Murray O'Hair, who objected to the earlier Apollo 8 crew reading from the book of Genesis, Aldrin's communion was kept a secret from the public. Not so secret was the plaque bolted to the descent ladder on the lunar module.